Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over a few stories that have been in the news in regards to Celtic Football Club. So strap yourselves in, it's midweek, we're almost there. We're nearly back to the weekend, we're nearly back to Celtic Park. Only a couple of more days to go. Although this season, that might not be the best of news. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated as we try and get towards 50,000 subscribers this week. We went live in the channel last night, so if you didn't catch that, you can go back and watch it on whatever kind of fashion you like. Skip through the boring parts, watch the good parts. Today we're back in video form, I'm sure you're glad to hear. So let's try and run down through these stories that have been floating around on Wednesday, the 13th of March. And see what's being said. We've got talks about contracts, we've got talks about injuries, and a very funny story involving Alexandre Bernabei. It's always a funny story with him. So, shall we start with that contract news I was talking about in the introduction for the video? I think that's a good place to start. Celtic are looking to lock down youngster Daniel Kelly onto a new deal at the club. This was the headlines this morning in the news, or sorry, late last night I should say. Daniel Kelly close to a new Celtic contract while talks press on with two more stars. Brendan Rodgers is keen to tie Kelly down and hopes he won't be the last to commit to a new contract in the coming weeks. The article goes on to say that Celtic are closing in on a new deal for youngster Daniel Kelly. The teenager is out of contract at the end of the season, but the club have now tabled an extension. Celtic want to tie the teenager down long term and are confident of agreeing a deal. The 18-year-old has managed to break through to Brendan Rodgers' team in recent weeks and made an instant impact, claiming his first senior goal in the recent Premiership route of Dundee. I may be a journalist and I can't pronunciate words that are 4 letters long. Daniel Kelly, yep, he's came through in the last few weeks and showed some real quality in the Celtic side, and I think he's someone that us as Celtic supporters have got very excited about, because it's been a long time since, and I'll use this phrase very loosely, one of our own. It's been a long time since one of our own has broke through the youth academy and made a real impact in the Celtic side. I think that, you know, you could go back as far as Kieran Tierney and say he was really the last one to do it at a very high level. We've had other players, of course, guys like Tony Ralston and Stephen Welsh who've come through and done bits for the club in recent years, and much respect and credit to them. But Celtic haven't created a real big player through their own academy system in a long time. It's been far too long, embarrassingly long actually, since we've done it. And it's been a real talking point over the past few years of how unsuccessful the youth academy has been proving when it comes to generating new first team players. Daniel Kelly is somebody who's had to be patient, wait for his chance, and through this kind of injury crisis and hard season that we've had, has now been given a chance and has impressed. And listen, I don't think by any means you're looking at the next Andrea Pirlo or Zinedine Zidane or anybody like that, but you never know. It's chances that make the player, and we've not given enough chances to younger players in recent years, and Daniel Kelly is someone who hopefully break that mould should he continue to impress both us, the fans, and the manager. So a new deal has been tabled. It's also very interesting because he's obviously a talented boy. Somebody who's picked up interest from two of Germany's biggest sides, Bayer Leverkusen and Rasenballspor Leipzig, both looking at him. You knew I had to do it, by the way, I'm sorry. RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen have been looking at the possibility of signing him on a pre-contract in the summer, but it is understood that Daniel Kelly's preference is to stay at Celtic Park, which, I love that. If he does sign this new deal, it shows the commitment he has to stay at Celtic and choose us over potential big moves to... I mean, Leverkusen are probably going to be German champions come the end of the season. They're probably going to win the Bundesliga. That would be a huge move. Look at Jeremy Frimpong, who's went over there and made himself an absolute superstar, one of the most talked about players in all of Europe. And Daniel Kelly is deciding to commit his future to the club he supports. I think that's tremendous dedication from him, and hopefully he's rewarded for that. Now, that doesn't obviously mean that you just bin certain players and they don't get played and Daniel Kelly's an automatic starter. He's got a long way in development to go. But don't just send him back to the B team and play him there week in, week out for the next 2 years. Give him these chances, give him these opportunities, let him shine, and really make the new contract worthwhile. So I'm delighted to hear that for Daniel Kelly. We'll see if anything comes out about it in the next few days in regards to length of contract, salary, whatever. But big news for Celtic on that front. And also in the same article, it was reported that Celtic are looking to get the contract talks finished up with two other players, Liam Scales and Rocco Vata, two players who we've heard in recent months that Celtic want to get extensions done for. There seems to be no real progress if the Daily Record's article is to go off. This is exactly what they said in regards to the two players. They've lost the likes of Ben Doak, Aidan Borland and Roy Mahadi to big English clubs in recent seasons and are keen to avoid another repeat. That's in reference to Daniel Kelly. Celtic remain in talks with Liam Scales and Rocco Vata over new deals. Offers are on the table for both of them, but neither player is any closer to an agreement at this stage. So we'll just need to watch how all three of these contract negotiations pan out, with Daniel Kelly, with Rocco Vata and with Liam Scales, of course. But it looks as though they want these deals done and finalised. People have asked obviously the question whether or not Liam Scales should be getting one, but I think that Brendan Rodgers is probably quite keen to get that tied up. So that is your contract news as it stands on March 13th. It would be nice to see some deals tied down, especially for a youngster like Daniel Kelly, who has a really bright future ahead of him should he be given the opportunities. Talking about bright futures, Celtics will hopefully be brighter post-international break when we see certain players returning from injury. We've had some brief updates on Cameron Carter-Vickers, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate and Luis Palma in regards to their status and when they'll return to the side. Brendan Rodgers spoke to Celtic TV and gave an update on why Vickers has struggled so much this season. Credit to 67 Hail Hail for transcribing said interview, but they said that Cameron Carter-Vickers should be fine with the precaution that kept him out. Everything has just been from his knee operation last summer. When you've picked up a few injuries from that, you get a sensation, and I think it's linked to another injury. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be big. We've had the scan, which has come through fine. He's done some work with the medical team, and hopefully he will rejoin the training squad on Thursday and Friday. That was loosely what Brendan Rodgers said about Cameron Carter-Vickers. So I think there's been some things playing up following his surgery that he got done last year, and hopefully that will all be packed up and finished with if these scans are coming back fine. Hopefully he can just kick on with it, get some consistent fitness into him and consistent games. And hopefully that'll all go well. On top of that, Brendan Rodgers hoping, and we spoke about this the other day very briefly as well, Brendan Rodgers is hoping that Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate will be back following the international break, which is a bit more soothing to hear compared to the rumours of McGregor being out till the end of the season. So hopefully we do see them back after the international break. Of course, we have Rangers very, very quickly once the international break is done and dusted on April 7th. So you want at least your captain back for that game at the absolute minimum. And then we'll see what happens with Rio Hatate. But it would be brilliant to get him back in before then, get some minutes in his legs and maybe up and run for that derby game at Ibrox. But nice to hear some updates on them. And the other player we should see back after the international break is Luis Palma, who missed the last couple games with a knock. However, there has been a question over whether or not he'll play for Honduras, even though he has got a slight injury to Honduras FA. And I think their manager has confirmed that he will be playing for Honduras, which means he should be playing for Celtic when he's back. But I hope that he's not being rushed into anything that's going to keep him out any longer. This was the comments over in Honduras saying that he will be one of the first names on the team sheet, 100% ready for the game. He does have a small injury, but nothing is serious, and he can recover in the coming days. We need the best possible squad for our dream of achieving qualification for the Copa America. So, yeah, a weird one happening over there, but he should be back post-international break as well. And shall we finish off the video over in South America as well with Alexandro Bernabei? Sorry, not in South America, because he's not made it. He's gubbed it. A man who's just full of hilarious stories. Another one that broke this morning. Here's the headline. He missed his flight. Yep, Bernabei misses flight as Celtic flop made to wait for debut and nightmare start at new club. Alexandro Bernabei has missed his connecting flight to Brazil via Amsterdam and will not be playing for his new side in the Brazilian First Division until after the international break. It couldn't get any more Bernabei than that. Do you remember, he was just before the first game of the season, he slept in, missed training. Brendan Rodgers wasn't happy at all. Yeah, he's one up that. The new manager's been, Rodgers thought he had it bad with sleeping in for training. He's missed his fucking flight. The new manager will be fuming. Rodgers got it rightly. Alexander Bernabei, everybody. And that is really about it for today. So mostly stories in regards to contracts and Daniel Kelly, which is good news to hear. Of course, a brief sort of injury update, but not drastically different from what we've already discussed this week. And Alexander Bernabei missing his flight. What a delight for your midweek updates, huh? What a delight. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.